One of the issues that we've seen, as you know, from time to time in our office is where somebody may get hurt at work and they may tell somebody at work, but they don't really need to go to the doctor right away. And a week later, it's bothering them a bit more. Let's talk a little bit about some of the procedural things that people need to do to protect their rights under workers' compensation under that circumstance where there wasn't paperwork done, maybe somebody's out at a job site, a construction work site or something like that. Something happens but no paperwork's generated, and then a week later, whatever the problem is, that person went to work, but later on decided, you know what, they really need to go to the doctor because it's bothering them. Let's talk about some of the things they need to do.
Sure, yeah, and that's one of the biggest problems we get is, you know, people where they just want to be a good employee. They're like, look, it's bothering me, but I'm not dying. So they're like, I'll just live with it. Well, because they don't understand the work comp system, what was a little problem later becomes a big problem, because one of the law requirements is that you have to notify both your employer and, under some circumstances, the insurance carrier within so many days. And so what happens a lot of times is by the time they come to see us, the employer will say, oh no, we never knew anything about this.
And what sort of notice requirements are there?
Well, the statute really says what you have to do is notify your employer within 30 days of the injury. But what ends up happening a lot of times is employee does notify them. It happened at work, but there's no documentation to support that. So one of the things if the employer won't send you to work, or to the doctor, some of the things we'll recommend is actually go to the doctor, and that way there's some written thing in the doctor's notes. It's hard to dispute that later, but anything you can send in writing to your employer and give them notification, or we'll file a claim right away within those 30 days. Because a lot of times what happens is it's many days later, or maybe someone doesn't come to see us for 6 months and they go, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And I thought my employer would stand by me, and then it's 6 months later and they don't. And so you got to notify your employer within 30 days of the incident, and we tell people, notify them right away, even if you don't think it's going to be a big deal. Just tell them and get something preferably in paper.
And what's the document that we typically see? It's called the first report of injury. We use that on a regular basis to give to clients and so on, and it's a document we receive. Does that have to be done? Do you have to use that first report of injury?
No, it's not a requirement, but it should be filled out. Preferably your employer, as soon as you inform them of an injury, should fill out a DWC-1, a first report of injury, and they should then send that off to their insurance carrier. That's why they have that coverage, is to protect themselves and you from an injury.